First-class cabin. The plane shakes violently. Red emergency lights flash in rapid succession across the ceiling. Victoria, a billionaire in a pristine white Chanel suit, screams in panic, gripping her armrests with perfectly manicured nails. "We're going to die! Where's the pilot?" The head flight attendant, face drained of color, announces over the intercom. "Both pilots are unconscious. Food poisoning. We need help immediately." Chaos erupts. Passengers shriek. Oxygen masks drop. Logan, wearing cheap mechanic coveralls in the seat beside Victoria, calmly unbuckles his seatbelt. He lifts his sleeping son and hands him gently to the flight attendant. "Hold him. Don't let him wake up." Logan strides toward the cockpit. Victoria shouts after him. "What the hell are you doing, you poverty-stricken nobody? Get back to your seat." Logan turns, his eyes sharp as steel. "Shut up or die." The cockpit door slams shut.
Hello, friends. I'm Maya. My palms are sweating just watching this. Imagine being on a plane with no pilot. Terrifying, right? Victoria thinks Logan is just a poor single dad trying to act like a hero, but she has no idea who just walked into that cockpit. Buckle up, this ride is about to get bumpy.
2 hours before takeoff, Logan rushes through the airport terminal, holding 6-year-old Leo's hand tightly. His khaki pants are worn thin. His jacket has a patch on the elbow, but his face is striking, handsome in a rugged way that makes people turn and look, then frown with pity at his obvious poverty. "Daddy, why are we running?" Leo struggles to keep up with his long strides. "We need to see Grandma, buddy. She's very sick. We can't miss this flight." At the gate, the attendant shakes her head apologetically. "I'm sorry, sir. Your economy tickets were canceled due to a system error. The flight is completely sold out." Logan's heart sinks. "Please. My mother-in-law is dying. I have to get my son there to say goodbye." There's only one seat left on the entire plane. She hesitates. But it's first class. $1,600. Logan pulls out his worn wallet. Inside is every dollar he's saved in 6 months. Exactly $1,623. Money meant for Leo's school supplies, for winter coats, for food. He slides the cash across the counter. "We'll take it." The attendant prints the boarding pass, looking at him with sympathy that burns like acid on his pride. Walking down the jetway, Logan carries Leo on his back. The boy is asleep now, exhausted from the early morning rush. They enter the first-class cabin. Leather seats, crystal glasses, the scent of expensive perfume and entitlement. A woman in a white designer suit looks up from her champagne. Victoria Sterling, 42 years old, CEO of Sterling Airlines, traveling incognito to inspect service quality without the crew knowing who she is. She sees Logan in his shabby clothes and her face twists with disgust. "Excuse me, flight attendant." Victoria snaps her fingers, her diamond bracelet catching the light. "Why is this person in first class? He's lowering the atmosphere. I can practically smell the poverty." Logan ignores her, settling Leo into the window seat and buckling him in carefully. Victoria leans closer, her voice dripping with disdain. "I'm serious. Look at those clothes. He probably scraped together his welfare check for that ticket. This is supposed to be a premium experience." The flight attendant whispers to Victoria. "Ma'am, he paid cash. He has every right to be here." "Cash?" Victoria laughs coldly. "Probably his entire life savings just to pretend he belongs here for a few hours. Pathetic." Logan finally looks at Victoria. She feels an unexpected flutter in her chest. Despite the worn clothes, his eyes are intelligent, calm, utterly unbothered by her insults. And his face, annoyingly handsome in that rough, masculine way. It irritates her even more. "Enjoy your flight," Logan says quietly, then turns to adjust Leo's blanket. Victoria seethes. Men like this shouldn't exist. Poor but dignified, broke but beautiful. It's an insult to the natural order of things. The plane begins taxiing toward the runway. Victoria orders her third glass of champagne, determined to make this flight miserable for the interloper beside her. She has no idea that in 90 minutes, this poor nobody will be the only thing standing between her and death. 30 minutes into the flight, the seatbelt sign turns off. Victoria immediately begins her campaign of petty cruelty. Flight attendant, another bottle of Cristal. The $2,000 one. Not the cheap champagne you'd serve to certain passengers. She glances meaningfully at Logan. Logan reads a worn paperback book, ignoring her completely. Victoria's phone buzzes. A message from her executive assistant. Stock prices up 15%. Board ecstatic about cost-cutting initiatives. Those cost-cutting measures included firing experienced pilots and replacing them with cheaper, less qualified crews. Victoria doesn't care. Profit margins are everything. She stands to use the lavatory, deliberately bumping Logan's shoulder with her Hermes handbag as she passes. Oops. Sorry. Didn't see you there. You're so insignificant. Logan doesn't respond. Just turns a page in his book. When Victoria returns, she accidentally knocks over her champagne glass. The golden liquid spills directly onto Logan's lap, soaking his already shabby pants. Oh my, Victoria's voice drips with false concern. How clumsy of me. But honestly, that stain might actually improve those rags you're wearing. The nearby passengers gasp. Some look away, embarrassed by her cruelty. Logan calmly grabs napkins and dabs at the stain. He doesn't say a word, doesn't make eye contact, just cleans the mess while Leo sleeps peacefully beside him, undisturbed. Victoria feels a surge of frustration. Why won't this man react, fight back, show her the anger she's trying to provoke? Suddenly the plane drops, hard, like an elevator with cut cables. Passengers scream, drinks fly. The overhead compartments rattle violently. The captain's voice comes over the intercom, strained. Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing severe turbulence. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Victoria's champagne-flushed face turns pale. What's happening? This is unacceptable. I demand answers. The turbulence intensifies. The plane shakes like a toy in a giant's fist. Lightning flashes outside the windows, illuminating dark storm clouds. Victoria grips her armrests, her knuckles turning white beneath her expensive rings. I'm going to sue everyone. The pilot, the airline, everyone. Logan gently places his hand over Leo's ears, shielding him from the noise and panic. Victoria notices Logan's other hand. It's gripping the seat rest so hard his knuckles are bloodless. And his breathing. It's too fast. Controlled but clearly fighting something internal. What's wrong, tough guy? Victoria sneers, desperate to regain some sense of control. Afraid of a little turbulence? Or are you realizing you wasted your pathetic savings on a flight that's going to crash? Logan's jaw clenches. Sweat beads on his forehead. His eyes are distant, seeing something that isn't there. A memory. 5 years ago. Different plane. Fire in the engine. Screaming passengers. The sickening moment when he realized he couldn't save them all. 23 people died that day. 23 souls he couldn't rescue despite his skill, his training, his desperate prayers. The trauma ended his career. Ended his marriage when his wife couldn't handle his PTSD. Left him broken, working as an aircraft mechanic on the ground where planes couldn't betray him again. The turbulence subsides slightly. Logan's breathing slowly returns to normal. Victoria laughs, a harsh sound. Unbelievable. You're having a panic attack. What kind of man falls apart like this? No wonder you're poor. You're weak. The cockpit door bursts open. The co-pilot stumbles out, her face gray and slick with sweat. She collapses in the aisle. Food poisoning, she gasps. Captain too. Both of us. Can't fly. She vomits onto the carpet, then passes out completely. The head flight attendant, Sarah, runs to her. Her training kicks in, but her voice shakes. Is there a doctor on board? A man raises his hand. He examines the co-pilot quickly. Severe food poisoning, possibly salmonella. She needs a hospital immediately. Both pilots are incapacitated? Sarah nods, tears forming. Yes. The autopilot is on, but we're flying into a major storm system. We need manual control to navigate safely. Can't the autopilot handle it? Someone asks desperately. Not extreme weather. It'll try to maintain altitude and speed, but it can't make complex decisions about storm avoidance. We need a pilot. The cabin erupts in panic. Passengers cry, pray, frantically call loved ones. Victoria stands, her face contorted with rage and terror. This is your airline's fault. Cheap food, cheap safety protocols. I'm going to destroy whoever is responsible. Sarah looks at her steadily. You're Victoria Sterling, aren't you? The CEO. You approved the catering contract with the lowest bidder 2 months ago. Victoria's mouth opens and closes. Her own decisions, coming back to kill her. The plane lurches again. Harder this time. The autopilot alarm begins blaring from the cockpit. Sarah's voice breaks. We're going to crash. Everyone brace for impact. I'm so sorry. Children sob. Adults hold hands with strangers. The plane tilts at a dangerous angle.
Victoria is so busy insulting Logan that she doesn't realize only Logan can save her life. It makes me so angry. But did you see Logan's hands shaking? He's fighting a trauma from his past. Can he overcome his fear to save everyone? I'm praying for him.
The plane drops again. Screaming fills the cabin. Oxygen masks deploy with a hissing sound, dangling like yellow jellyfish from the ceiling. Sarah tries to contact air traffic control, but the storm is interfering with communications. Only static and broken sentences come through. Losing altitude, need immediate. The autopilot alarm intensifies. A computerized voice announces coldly, terrain, pull up, terrain, pull up. They're heading toward mountains. The autopilot doesn't know how to navigate around them in zero visibility. Victoria falls to her knees in the aisle. Her perfect makeup runs with tears. She pulls out her crocodile skin wallet, throwing credit cards and cash into the air. $20 million. I'll give $20 million to anyone who can land this plane. $30 million. Anything you want. The money flutters uselessly through the air, meaningless paper in the face of death. No one moves. No one knows how to fly a commercial aircraft. Sarah makes an announcement, her voice cracking with desperation. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is anyone on board with any flight experience, please identify yourself immediately. Please. Silence. Just sobbing and prayers. Then, a small voice. Daddy? Leo is awake, rubbing his eyes. He sees the chaos, the dangling oxygen masks, his father's terrified face. Daddy, what's wrong? Why is everyone crying? Logan looks at his son. This beautiful boy who lost his mother to cancer 3 years ago. Who is only Logan left in the world. Who deserves to grow up, go to school, fall in love, live a full life. Something breaks inside Logan. Then something else rebuilds, stronger than before. The fear doesn't disappear. The trauma doesn't vanish. But love. Love is louder than fear. Logan unbuckles his seatbelt and stands. I can fly the plane. Every head turns toward him. The cabin falls silent except for the wailing alarms. Victoria stares up at him from her knees, mascara-stained face twisted with disbelief. You? The broke mechanic? You're delusional. Sit down before you kill us all. Logan ignores her, walking toward Sarah. I need you to take my son. Keep him calm. Keep him safe. Don't let him watch what happens. Sarah looks into his eyes and sees something that makes her nod immediately. Who are you? Someone who used to do this for a living. Logan's voice is steady now, calm. Before I forgot how. He walks past Victoria, who's still on her knees surrounded by scattered money and credit cards. You're going to kill everyone, Victoria screams, her composure completely shattered. You're nobody. You're less than nothing. You probably can't even drive a car properly. Logan stops, turns, looks down at the sobbing billionaire. You're right. I am nobody. But I'm the only nobody on this plane who has a chance of saving your life. So shut your mouth, sit down, and pray to whatever God you believe in, that I remember how to do this. He steps over her like she's an obstacle in his path and enters the cockpit, closing the door behind him with a decisive click. The cockpit is chaos. Warning lights flash red across every panel. Alarms scream from multiple systems. The captain slumps unconscious in his seat, drool on his chin. The control yoke shakes violently, fighting against autopilot commands. Logan slides into the co-pilot's seat. His hands hover over the controls, trembling. 5 years. 5 years since he's touched these instruments. 5 years since he's been responsible for hundreds of lives. The altitude alarm screams. They're at 18,000 feet and dropping fast. The mountains ahead reach 14,000 feet. 4,000 feet between survival and obliteration. And closing. Logan closes his eyes, breathes deep, sees the faces of the 23 people who died in the crash, their screams, the smell of burning fuel, his own helplessness. Then he sees Leo's face, his son who still believes his father can do anything, who needs him to be brave. Logan's hands stop shaking. He grabs the control yoke firmly and disengages the autopilot. The plane immediately responds to his touch, banking hard left away from the mountain range showing on the terrain radar. He keys the radio. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. This is Flight 723. Both pilots incapacitated due to food poisoning. Passenger with flight experience taking control. Static crackles. Then a clear, urgent voice. Flight 723, this is Denver Air Traffic Control. Say again. A passenger is now flying the aircraft? Affirmative. I'm a former commercial pilot, type rated on this aircraft model, but I haven't flown in 5 years. A pause. Logan can almost hear the controller's mind racing through protocols, procedures, disasters. Understood. Flight 723. What's your name, sir? Logan. Logan Mitchell. Another pause. Longer this time. Then the controller's voice returns, higher pitched with a mixture of disbelief and hope. Logan Mitchell? The Logan Mitchell? The pilot who landed Flight 409 with one engine on fire and hydraulics failing? That's ancient history. Sir, you're a legend in this industry. If anyone can land this plane safely, it's you. We're clearing all traffic. You have absolute priority approach to Denver International. Every emergency vehicle we have is rolling. Logan adjusts the throttle, pulling them up to a safer altitude. The storm buffets the plane viciously, but his hands are steady now. Muscle memory takes over, his body remembering what his mind tried to forget. In the cabin, passengers hear his voice over the intercom. Calm, professional, confident. A voice that knows what it's doing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Mitchell speaking. I apologize for the rough ride. We've encountered some unexpected turbulence, and our flight crew is temporarily unable to perform their duties. I'm going to navigate around this storm system and make an emergency landing in Denver. Please remain seated with your seatbelts securely fastened. Flight attendants, prepare the cabin for emergency landing procedures. We'll be on the ground in approximately 28 minutes. The cabin, which moments ago was pure pandemonium, falls into shocked, hopeful silence. Victoria, still crumpled on the floor, looks up at the cockpit door. Her face has gone completely white. Mitchell? Logan Mitchell? The name triggers a memory. 6 years ago, when Victoria took over as CEO, she personally oversaw a purge of expensive senior staff. Logan Mitchell had been near the top of the list. He'd questioned her decision to cut the maintenance budget, suggesting it was dangerous. She'd seen him as an obstacle, too principled, too willing to put safety over profit margins. So she'd fabricated a complaint about his unreliable emotional state following the crash, forced him out, destroyed his reputation in the industry, made sure he'd never fly commercially again. And now that man, the one she destroyed, is the only thing keeping her alive. Sarah helps Victoria back to her seat. Through the narrow gap in the cockpit door, Victoria catches glimpses of Logan's profile. His hands move across the controls with the precision of a concert pianist, making micro-adjustments, reading instruments, communicating with air traffic control in calm, clipped tones. This isn't a mechanic. This isn't the broken nobody she mocked. This is a master at the peak of his craft. Logan banks the plane through a gap in the storm clouds. Rain hammers the windscreen like bullets, but visibility slowly improves. Ahead, through the darkness and chaos, the lights of Denver glow like a beacon of hope. Flight 723. You're cleared for emergency landing. Runway 27. Wind 230 at 18 knots. Gusting to 25. Visibility 1 mile in heavy rain. Emergency vehicles in position. Copy that, Denver. Runway 27. Beginning final approach. Logan lowers the landing gear. The plane shudders as the wheels deploy into the screaming wind. He adjusts for the brutal crosswinds. compensating with rudder and aileron inputs so subtle they're almost invisible. The kind of flying that separates good pilots from great ones. The runway appears through the rain-streaked windscreen. It looks impossibly short, impossibly wet, impossibly dangerous. But Logan has landed in worse conditions. Much worse. He cuts the throttle at exactly the precise moment, feeling the plane's weight shift, sensing the relationship between aircraft and Earth like it's an extension of his own body. The wheels kiss the tarmac. Smooth, perfect, gentle as a feather. He engages reverse thrust. The engines roar in protest. The brakes scream. The entire fuselage shudders with the force of deceleration. The plane slows. Slows. They stop with 60 feet of runway remaining. For a heartbeat, there's only silence. Then the cabin erupts. Applause. Tears. Screams of joy and relief. Prayers of thanksgiving. Strangers hugging strangers. Logan sits back in the co-pilot's seat. His hands are shaking again now that the adrenaline is fading. His shirt is soaked completely through with sweat. His heart pounds like a drum. But he did it. He flew again. And this time, everyone lived. Every single person. Logan emerges from the cockpit. His face is pale, exhausted, but peaceful. Like a man who just made peace with his demons. The entire first-class cabin erupts in a standing ovation. Passengers surge forward, desperate to shake his hand, hug him, thank him through tears and laughter. "You saved us! You're a hero!" "Thank you." Leo breaks free from Sarah's arms and runs to his father. Logan drops to his knees and catches him, holding him so tight. "Daddy, you flew the plane. You're the best pilot in the whole world." "No, buddy, I'm just your dad. And that's all I need to be." Victoria stands in the corner, watching the scene unfold. Her white suit is wrinkled and stained. Her perfect makeup is destroyed. Her hands won't stop shaking. Logan stands, holding Leo's hand, and walks toward the exit where emergency crews wait. Victoria steps into his path. Her voice comes out as a whisper. "Logan, wait. Please." He stops. Looks at her. No anger in his eyes. No triumph. Just exhaustion. "I need to talk to you. I need to apologize. For everything. For firing you. For destroying your career. For tonight." Her voice breaks. "I was so wrong." "You were wrong about a lot of things, Victoria." Logan's voice is quiet, measured. "But I don't need your apology. I don't need anything from you. The money. The 30 million. It's yours. Please. You saved my life." Logan glances at the bills and credit cards still scattered across the first-class floor. "Keep it. My son's life isn't for sale. None of these people's lives are for sale. We're all worth more than you could ever pay." "Then what do you want? Name anything. Anything at all." Logan looks at her for a long moment. "I want you to remember this feeling, this terror, this helplessness, and the next time you're about to cut costs on safety, or fire someone for caring too much, or treat another human being like garbage because they don't have money, I want you to remember that your life depended on the man you thought was worthless." He walks past her and down the stairs to the tarmac where paramedics and news crews wait in the rain. Victoria stands alone in the empty first-class cabin, surrounded by luxury that means nothing, watching the man she destroyed walk away like a king. 3 weeks later. Logan stands in a modern office overlooking a different airport. He's wearing a crisp new pilot's uniform. The insignia on his shoulder reads, Chief Training Officer, Skybridge Airlines. The CEO, an older gentleman with kind eyes, shakes his hand warmly. "We've been trying to recruit you for 6 years, Captain Mitchell. When we heard what you did on that Sterling Airlines flight, we knew we couldn't let you slip away again." "I'm ready to fly again," Logan says, looking out at the planes taking off into blue sky. "But I have one condition. My son comes to work with me sometimes. He's my co-pilot in training." The CEO laughs. "Absolutely. Family first. Always." Logan smiles. He's not afraid anymore. The ghosts of Flight 409 will always be with him, but they're at peace now. He honored their memory by saving everyone on Flight 723. Meanwhile, across the city, Victoria sits in an emergency board meeting. Her face is composed, but pale. The chairman speaks coldly. Ms. Sterling, this committee has reviewed the incident on Flight 723. Your cost-cutting measures directly led to the food poisoning that incapacitated the crew. Your decision to terminate Captain Mitchell 6 years ago deprived this company of one of the finest pilots in the industry. Your treatment of passengers and disregard for safety protocols are unacceptable. Victoria's hands gripped the armrests of her chair. Effective immediately, you are removed as CEO. The board is appointing interim leadership while we search for your replacement. Her empire, built on ruthlessness and profit margins, crumbles in a single vote. She watches the news that evening. Every channel shows the same footage. Logan walking across the tarmac in the rain, carrying his sleeping son, while reporters call him a hero. The miracle landing by legendary pilot Logan Mitchell. The man she called worthless. The man she destroyed. The man who saved her life. Victoria pours herself a glass of wine with shaking hands and realizes she's learned the most expensive lesson of her life. Some things truly are priceless, and you don't know their value until you're begging for them in the aisle of a falling plane. Final scene. 6 months later. Logan walks through Denver International Airport in his Skybridge uniform, holding Leo's hand. Passengers recognize him, smile, nod respectfully. A little girl approaches shyly, holding her mother's hand. Are you the pilot who saved everyone? Logan kneels down to her level, his smile warm. I'm just a pilot who remembered why I loved flying in the first place. To keep people like you safe so you can visit your grandmas and go on adventures. The girl's mother has tears in her eyes. We were on that flight. In economy. We heard everything. You saved my daughter's life. Thank you. Logan stands, touches his captain's hat in salute. Just doing my job, ma'am. Fly safe. As they walk toward his gate, Leo looks up at his father with pure adoration. Daddy, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. Logan stops, kneels down again, cups his son's face gently. Then be kind. Be brave when it matters. And remember that your worth has nothing to do with your bank account. Can you do that? Yes, Daddy. Then you'll be better than me, buddy. Much better. They continue walking, father and son, ready for their next flight together. Behind them, unnoticed in the crowd, Victoria stands watching. She's dressed simply now. No designer labels. She's resigned from all her board positions, sold most of her assets, started a foundation for aviation safety in memory of the 23 people who died on Flight 409. She'll never speak to Logan again. She doesn't deserve to. But she watches him disappear into the crowd, carrying the son he loves more than life itself, and whispers 2 words she should have said that night. Thank you.
Friends, I literally forgot to breathe during that landing. Logan proved that true class isn't about expensive suits or first-class tickets. It's about skill, courage, and love for your family. Seeing Victoria tremble while Logan landed that plane was the best karma ever. Never underestimate a quiet person. They might just be the legend you need. Would you trust Logan to fly your plane? Type Captain Logan in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay safe.